wrote emails for me, and I was like, damn, like they were very, very, very well done. He's wanted this for a while, and I want to talk about this for a while. And I think it solves the biggest challenge that most people make and the biggest gap that most people have. So this is kind of what happens. You go on a journey. Let's do some curved connections right here. Let's see if this works as intended. Maybe not. Scribble. Yeah, here we go. So this is kind of like your Facebook ad agency, digital marketing agency journey, things along those lines. You know nothing here and nothing here, and then you get hit with an ad, and then nothing here, and then you go to Russell Brunson, and oh my God, I bought in, I'm all in, and then it all goes to hell really fast. That did not work out as I thought at all. Let me do that again one more time. Okay, so this is usually what happens with people's Facebook ad agency, digital marketing agency journey. So let's just say that this is their level of excitement. Let's call that level of excitement in progress. Let's move that sucker over here. Rotate it that way. Cool. So this is their level of excitement in progress when it comes to digital marketing. Facebook ad agency, whatever it is, progress. And then let's do, this is the sucker for time, just like that. Whether it's day, months, years, whatever it is. And this was really like my journey, and I'll be asking everybody a question really fast. So just like, you know, follow along. You have no idea about digital marketing, not a thing. You're on Facebook, you're on the experienced part of Facebook ad marketing, digital marketing, stuff like that. And then one day you wake up, you get targeted by somebody. Dan Henry, Russell Brunson, Sam Ovens, Traffic and Funnels, whoever it is, whatever it is. And they say, I'm the absolute expert. I'm the best person in the world. You should be following me, what I'm doing. I'm super wealthy. I'm super rich. I'm super successful. And they hit you with an ad and it gets your attention. And then nothing really happens. You don't take action. You click, but not really. You look at the landing page, but not really interested in making a purchase. And so your level of excitement goes down, but then they hit you again and again and again and again. And you get super excited, super motivated. Oh my God, this is going to be the most amazing thing in the whole dang world. Holy crap, this is awesome. This is usually what happens with people's Facebook ads agency journeys right here. This is what their Facebook ad agency experience is like. And then what happens? They start their own journey. They say, I'm going to do what this guy or gal says. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be motivating, and everything goes to hell really fast. Like it is a plummet into sadness immediately. And what I'd like to discuss right now is the reason why this plummet happens. The reason why everything goes to hell. And it's not what you think, by the way. It has nothing to do with skills, knowledge, or ability. It has to do with the way that we bought. My digital marketing journey started off with Dan Henry. I'd always give him credit. He was the first guy to pull the credit card out of my hand when I was at bottom. But everybody here has their first person that they interviewed, or sorry, that they paid money to. For me, it was Dan Henry. For some people, it's Russell Brunson. Some people, it's Sam Ovens. Some people, it's Traffic and Funnels. And what I'd like you to do is in the chat, let me know which one of these people broke your brain. Which one of these people was the first guy or gal to say, you should pay me money. And I understand your challenges. I understand your problem. I'm the expert. You should do what I'm saying. I have more experience than everybody else. Let's do it. Let me know in the comments whether it was Russell Brunson, Dan Henry, Sam Ovens, Traffic and Funnel guys, or whoever it was. Like whoever it was the first person that said, hey, you should pay me money. I'm awesome. Let's go. I mean, even Billie Jean is in here. Brunson. There's all sorts of people that have helped us move through our journey. And I'd just like to give them credit. We've got people like Dan Locke, which I don't like. I'm not a fan of, but his name is on here too. We've got Iman Ghazi, I've only recently heard of. Pat says me, I appreciate that a lot. It's pretty cool to be on this list. I appreciate it. But somebody on here said, I'm the absolute expert. I'm the best person out there. You should be listening to me. and be paying me money. And for the conversation, I'm just going to do Russell Brunson, Dan Henry, and let's say Sam Ovens. I think those are the big three that I can do and have like a real conversation about. Maybe Dan Kennedy is on there, but for remote intents and purposes, like this is a good three to start off with. I think the analogy will apply to everybody else. So this is what happens. This is Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson does a webinar. He qualifies himself. He says, guys, you should listen to me. I have been doing this for 15 years straight. I'm good at my job. I've been doing it a long time. I did $30,000 a month in, I don't want to call them pills, but like vitamin sales, right? I did this like vitamin sales and launched a business that did 1 million in 12 months. You should listen to me. And this is really butchering his communication, but this is given my limited time and limited memory and whatever it was. Like literally, like Russell Brunson has a webinar that says, guys, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm fantastic at it. I know what I'm doing. I know how I'm doing it. I did $30,000 from the vitamin sales and launched a business at $1 million in 12 months. That's what he says. Cool. Let's look at Tai Lopez as another example. He does a webinar, he qualifies himself and says, I have been reading books every day for 15 years. I've spent millions on marketing. I have the cars, the girls, everything. You should listen to me. What he says. And there's nobody here that will ever like dispute the fact that he has those things. We see it in the ad. He's smart enough. He's good enough. That's why he's a bookshelf. That's why he's teamed up with the Plenty of Fish guy. He's good enough. He's qualified. You can look at Sam Ovens. He does the webinar. He qualifies himself and says, last year I made over, I think like $22 million doing what I'm doing. You should listen to me. Even with Dan Henry, his new offer, he says, last year, I made over $10 million selling courses. You should listen to me. Most of the people in this group had their start with one of these four people. And it's a big compliment to what they're doing and how they're doing it. But here's the mistake. Here's the problem. Russell Brunson says, hey, I'm an absolute expert. You should listen to me. I've done more than everybody else. I'm qualified. It makes complete and total sense. Tai Lopez, I'm an absolute expert. You should listen to me. I spent millions on marketing. I have everything. You should listen to me. Sam Ovens, I made over $2 million a month, $22 million a year. Doing what I'm doing. You should listen to me. Dan Henry, I made $10 million last year. You should do what you're doing. Listen to me. Here's the problem. Every single person here is selling through expertise. Every single person is selling through expertise. I'm the biggest, I'm the best, I'm the most amazing. And then they sell you a thing and then they say, get to it. And now you're going, but I'm not an expert. I can't sell the way you do. Your brain freezes, you freak out, you have no case studies, no previous results, you have no experience. Everything's going to hell. When you try to be an expert, everybody rips you to shreds. You can't be Gary Vee overnight. He's got 20 years of experience. You bought what Sam Ovens did, and his entire campaign, his entire everything is built on the fact that he's an expert. But you're not. You can't sell through expertise. And that's why everything goes to shit really darn fast. Because you realize very, very quickly, you can't sell the way you were sold to. You are not Sam Ovens. You're not Tai Lopez. You're not Dan Henry. You're not Russell Brunson. You can't shoot a video renting Lamborghinis and expect to be bought from. The market will rip you to shreds. And that's why there's a whole series of people, including me, that are like anti-marketing marketers. I don't buy into the cars, the flashy clothes, the girls, nothing like that. But those are the people who are actually doing what they were taught. Because Tai Lopez does this, Sam Ovens does his own version of this, Dan Henry does his own version of this, Russell Brunson does his own version of this. Every single person does their own version of flashy cars and Lamborghinis and girls, but we can't. And that's why everything goes to hell for you very, very quickly. And what I want to do is spend the next 15, 20 minutes or so talking about the 3 structural ways that selling happens so that you can actually start selling. The 3 structural, that's not right, ways selling happens so you can start selling too. Go ahead and make this pretty. 24. Here we go. See, there are 3 big ways of selling that you've bought from. And most people skip this lesson when it comes to their MBA or the books behind me or something like that. You have to understand this because you have to switch from the left side of the boxes to the right side of the boxes when you're starting out. And it's one of the bigger challenges as to why individuals have this huge drop. One of the biggest ways of selling, and this is not academic, this is me just organizing my thoughts, is selling expertise. You are the biggest, you are the best, you are the person that everyone should be listening to. I am king of the mountain. I am qualified. I'm the best person in the world. You should buy my stuff. This is how everybody bought. That's how most people in this inner circle, or sorry, in this public group bought. This is the first dollars. They bought from the #1 person in their field. Russell Brunson, Dan Henry, Tai Lopez, Sam Ovens, etc. They bought because of expertise. That person is the #1. I am the best in the world. And that makes a lot of sense simply because we are in marketing. But that doesn't work for everybody else. And if you're just starting out your marketing journey, it doesn't work. So like I mentioned before, the people that sell by expert, Russell Brunson, Dan Henry, Tai Lopez, Sam Ovens, I am good, so you should be buying my stuff. Personal trainers that are ripped are a great example. Chefs that are fat as a great example. People who bike a lot and also sell bikes are an example. People who are experts in their field, you should be spending money with them. The second biggest way of buying or selling is simply having more stuff to sell. There are certain companies that do this very, very easily and very, very quickly. E-commerce companies are a great example. So things like Amazon, Apple, things like that. Like these types of companies simply say like, hey, you bought some stuff from me. Would you like to buy more stuff? You spent $15. You spent $15. Would you like to spend $150? Just simply buy more stuff. And when you have more stuff to sell, you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You don't have to do absolutely everything. You don't have to be like, hey, I'm awesome. Nope. I simply have more stuff if you want to buy, like a normal retail store. Publix doesn't run around town saying, I'm the #1 grocery store chain. That's not how they're selling. They're simply saying, we've got more stuff. Walmart doesn't run around town saying, I'm the absolute expert in all of retailing. You should buy my stuff. That doesn't happen that way. Like the people that buy Walmart are not buying because of Walmart's an expert. It's not a thing. And we don't buy stuff from Amazon because Amazon's an expert. That's not a thing. We don't buy stuff from Apple because Apple is the #1 leader in their field. We, as normal human beings looking to make a purchasing decision, do not buy from an expert. We buy because they have more stuff to sell. And that's how most stores and e-commerce companies and most purchasing decisions work. You know, a great example is like all these like vitamins that I have on my desk. Here's magnesium. You can ask Steph, I have a lot. Here's turmeric. Here's flaxseed. Like I didn't buy these because Publix was like, I'm the #1 vitamin person in the world. It was just they simply had more stuff. And the third, you buy because someone understands your problem, has a process to fix it, and promises it'll get done. This is the #1 easiest way to actually get clients, keep clients, and get them results. You cannot lean in on expertise when you're starting out. I still don't lean on expertise. I can't go to bike shops and say I'm the #1 bike shop person in the world, and I've got all the cars that bike shop owners want, and I've got the biggest biceps, so you should be buying my gym stuff. Like, that's not a thing that I do, and you shouldn't have to do it as well. That was just how we started out our marketing journey. My clients, the people that spend money with me, whether it's my done-for-you service or my digital product, are not buying from me because I have more stuff to sell. I usually don't. And the vast majority of the dollars and the purchases that happen are not because of upsells. The vast majority of dollars in sales that I make, that the people in the books that I read make, and the vast majority of people that actually make real life money, do it here. And if you're just starting out your Facebook ad agency journey, your digital marketing journey, you want to lean in on this right box 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10. If you lean in on the expertise on the left side of these boxes, your future clients will laugh at you. Your future clients will tear you down. They will say, oh, if you're such an expert, how come you don't have previous results, experience, or case studies? If you're so great at your job, why don't you do this? If you're so awesome, how come you're not competing with me directly? Why are you selling this to me as a service? Leaning in as an expert when you're starting out is it's the reason why everything goes to hell very, very quickly. So don't try to lean in on an expert. Don't try to say, I'm the best in my field, I'm the #1. Don't try to do that. Instead, you're going to sell just like a doctor, lawyer, or accountant does. No doctor, lawyer, accountant. Let me do a new slide here. Doctors, lawyers, and accountants. I don't think any doctor, let me do this. I don't think any doctor gets more business by beating their chest and saying, I'm #1 in the world. I don't think doctors do that, right? Like, even if a doctor did, would you really be spending money or paying attention to this doctor? You'd just be like, oh, such an asshole. I think you'd be more the latter than the former. I don't think a doctor actually gets business by running around town saying, I'm the #1 person in the world. I don't think lawyers get more business by beating their chest and saying, I'm the #1 person in the world. And I really don't think accountants get more business by beating their chest and saying, I'm the #1 person in the world. Think about it like this. When you go to a doctor, lawyer, and accountant, what do they do to earn your business? Do they say, hey, I'm the absolute expert in transfer pricing and heart valve replacements or whatever it is? Do you do business with a doctor, lawyer, accountant because they've got a whole bunch of other surgeries to do, because they've got a bunch of services to buy? Or do you spend money with your doctor because, one, they spent 15 to 20 minutes talking with you and understanding their problem, showed you a plan that would solve it, and promised it would get done at the price they said it would. I think more doctors, lawyers, and accountants get more business by doing this than by banging their chest saying that they're an expert. The next time you talk to a doctor, lawyer, accountant, and do it in professional capacity, doctors will sit you down in the chair and they will say, what's going on? What hurts? They're going to ask you more questions. You're going to say like, oh, my knee hurts. And they're going to say, okay, what about your knee hurts? Is it in your butt? Is it in your hamstrings or quads? Where does the pain go and where does it lead to? Was there something specific that happened? How does this negatively impact your life? Are you doing certain things like picking up your kids and playing sports? Or like you're walking around and it really ruins your work? How much pain is this? They're having a real life conversation where the beginning of that onboarding session, see what I did there? They're asking about the pain and then quantifying the pain. How does this negatively impact your life? How does this change your life for the worse? If we solve this, what would your life look like? You're going to say, great, Mr. Johnson, I totally understand it. Can I show you what we would do in an outpatient surgery so that you never experience this pain ever again? They bring out a little diagram or a little model. They don't chop it up. It's just the knee, the bones, and the ligaments, and it looks something like this. And they say, here's the problem. We're going to have to run some x-rays and tests and make sure, but for the most part, it looks like the cartilage here is kind of worn. It's a pretty standard procedure. It does not require months in the hospital. We can do this in 20 minutes. And within about 2 weeks, you'll be able to pick up your kids again and live the life that you want. Is that something you're looking for? Great. Do you understand how this can positively impact your life for the better? Do you understand how this surgery works? Would you like to know how much it costs? Great. We can do this whole knee thingy. I don't know what it's called. And we're going to make sure you're taken care of. We're going to give you 2 weeks of care. You get to stay overnight. We've got an on-site nurse that we're going to assign to you and blank, blank, and blank for one-time price of $3,000. And that includes checkups every 6 weeks in my office to make sure that you are up and running, and it covers any mistakes or problems or blah, blah, blahs. When would you like to schedule a surgery? The conversation with a doctor, lawyer, accountant sounds more like that than a doctor, lawyer, accountant banging their chest and saying, I've done more surgeries than anybody else. You should spend money with me. Here's the kicker. Our digital marketing journey started here, but nobody told us we're supposed to do this. Our digital marketing journey started here, and nobody told us we're supposed to do this, just like a normal, everyday small business. And more small businesses will buy because the box on the right then will buy on the box on the left, especially if you're starting, especially if you're sub $30,000 a month. You cannot sell the way you bought. And this is unique and specific to digital marketing. It's unique and specific to our journey. It's unique and specific to our agency experience. If you're running around town saying, I bought because Tai Lopez has Lamborghinis and I'm gonna have Lamborghinis so I can sell stuff, guess what? They're gonna rip you to shreds and say you're not an expert. You can't do what Frank Kern is doing. You can't do what Dan Locke is doing. You have to do what is going to work for your target audience, for your target clients, and how they buy. I'm gonna say that again. You have to sell the way your target market is buying. This is how we bought, but our target market, this is how they buy. And I think that's a big mistake that most people make that leads to this like excitement and downturn. I bought all this stuff. I'm doing everything right. I'm telling everybody I'm doing what I was told. And it all goes to hell real fast, like real fast. This was my experience and probably yours too, because you can't sell like Frank Kern and Sam Ovens and Mark Lack and Dan Henry, Iman Ghazi. You can't. They've got a 3 to 5 year head start. You can't sell like Gary Vee does. You see it all the time. Like people be like, yo, man, here's 5 tips you need to know about digital marketing. They got the top of the bottom. They just emulate Gary Vee. And everybody's like, who is this clown? Because he's trying to sell expertise that he doesn't have. But if this guy said, hey, I want to let you know that we're going to spend 15 minutes on the phone. I'm going to thoroughly understand your problem. I'm going to show you 5 to 7 steps to fix it. And I promise you'll get your intended result. What do you say? That's a much better conversation. And this, by the way, naturally leads to expertise that you can lead into here. And I don't care if you're just starting on dental implants. I don't care if you're just starting out the profile funnels. I don't care if you're just starting out your Facebook ad agency journey, whatever it is. You cannot sell through expertise which you do not have. That was simply how you were sold. You have to match the way your target market audience buys. And chances are you're selling to real life, normal human being businesses that don't give a shit if you're an expert. Like no plumber is like, hey, I'm the #1 plumbing expert. He doesn't make more business that way. I'm not going to write him a check just because he's an expert, but I will write him a check if he does the 3P process. And that's what this is right here, 3P process. And I learned this from Andrew Cruzy, and I think he learned it from, I don't remember who, but effectively the 3P process is as follows. And this is the #1 reason why when I had my when I had my car washes, we don't do business anymore, I was charging $10,000 a month and they were super happy with it. Why, when I had my bike shop and I was charging $8,000 a month and they were super happy with it. Because I didn't run around town trying to say I'm the #1 car wash guy. Because the guy with 20 years of car wash experience would be like, who the hell are you and what are you doing in my office? Get out. He would just laugh me away. The bike shop guy would not believe me at all, even if I was. I've got a baby face. What is somebody who's 50 years old going to listen to me for? But I didn't go to an expert. I said, I'm going to understand your problem. I'm going to show you a process to solve that problem. And I'm going to give you a promise that it'll get fixed. And you're probably saying, oh my God, what does this promise look like? Blah, blah, blah. I'm freaking out, et cetera, et cetera. Like, look, you don't have to let, why are these different font sizes? You don't have to let this fear of not having a good promise stop you from moving forward. I'm going to solve that right now. The problem, most times for most clients, is I don't have enough business. So my problem, or the way I understand my client's problem, is I say, I can get you 30 customer opportunities a month. That directly addresses their I don't have enough clients problem. And whether it's 4 to 5 more HVAC installations per month, or 15 to 20 more implant cases per week, or 15 premium car washes per day, whatever it is, you are going to have a tagline that directly addresses a problem. You can stay generic. You don't have to niche. You can just do 30 customer opportunities a month or 30 prepaid appointments a week, whatever it is. It's fine. That's how you address the problem. The process is 5 to 7 steps. If you're inside the IC, you have access to the Wallet App campaign. It's 5 to 7 steps that will show your client the work that you will do to get them the problem or the solution to the problem. 5 to 7 steps, by the way, one of those steps is Facebook ads. And if you're leaning just saying Facebook ads are not going to work, like no plastic surgeon's like, hey, I sell because I have the greatest scalpel. Like that's not a thing at all. So don't lean on the tool. You want to lean on the series of steps. Like even plastic surgeons, or going back to the plastic surgeon, or any type of surgery, it's not about the tool, the scalpel. It's like, I have the expertise. I've got a background. We've got staff. We've got facilities. We've got support. And we have a 6-week, 6-month, and 6-year follow-up. This is your process. These are your steps. And this is inherent to the way doctors, lawyers, accountants sell, not inherent to us. You have to make this switch and have to make this change. You have to move from expertise to 3P process. By the way, if somebody starts introducing you as an expert, you will have a bad time. Do not let your clients introduce you as an expert. You'll notice that when people are introduced as an expert on stage, you'll say, no, I'm not an expert. I just stand on the shoulder of giants. I appreciate the compliment, but I know a lot of people a lot smarter than me. And the reason why is because when people are introduced as an expert, there's something inherent to give them a sense check to see how expert they are and immediately challenge them. Oh, you think you're so good? What about this? And there's 1.5 million reasons why that person cannot give a great answer right there. And it all goes to hell publicly. So if your client is introducing you as an expert, try to pedal them back, be like, hey, I appreciate you introducing me as an expert, but I really want to come in as someone that's always learning. So if you just introduce me as Jeff, who helps get me leads, that'd be great. Or helps get me customer opportunities, that'd be great. Or the campaign that got me $10,000 a month in sales, that'd be great. Because when somebody's an expert, there's something human about trying to tear them down. Don't let your clients introduce you as an expert. Problem, you understand that. That's your tagline. You can see on my cover photo. The process, the Wallet App campaign, not Facebook ads, and the promise. The promise is what you're going to do if it goes wrong. Plumbers inherently have a promise. Hey, you did everything and all broke. I need you to come back and fix it. Fine. I won't charge you. GE has a promise. If you buy a washer and dryer or a washing machine for your dishes, a dishwashing machine, great. Talking is hard. A dishwashing machine, and it doesn't fit, they will give you a $500 gift card to any carpenter to cut out a bigger hole, and then you put your machine in there. It removes a reason why somebody would freak out. Like, what if I bought it and it's not the right size? We're going to make sure you're taken care of. If you pay me to do your ads for you, my Wallet App campaign done for you program, and you don't get 30 customer opportunities a month, I will pay your next month's bill for you again until you get 30 customer opportunities a month. If you don't get 15 walk-ins guaranteed, I give you your next month's free. Like the promise is what will happen if it goes wrong. Microsoft has a great example. Microsoft has a competing product to AWS and Google Cloud. It's called Azure. It's like $1 million a month for this software. It's huge, or this cloud service. And if you are running your software and your services on Azure Cloud, and if Microsoft Azure's cloud goes down, they will pay you, I think it's like $100,000 an hour until it's fixed. It's huge, which, okay. All right. So if it goes wrong and our website goes down, at least we're going to be okay. Level 3 communications, another great example. They own all the I was going to say pipes, but the wiring between servers. Like imagine like your Netflix stuff is here and their computers here. They own this stuff right here. They have SLA agreements. Like, hey, Netflix will let you know if our stuff goes down. We're going to pay you and we'll make sure it's taken care of. Amazon has the same exact thing with AWS where Netflix information is on. If everything goes to hell, we're going to make sure it's taken care of. We guarantee 99.999% uptime. And for whatever reason it doesn't, we're going to pay you. Same thing, except I don't pay them directly. I just pay their bill for them. Same exact thing. And so I really hope that everybody here realizes that the big lesson is that you bought by expertise, but your market will not buy your expertise. You probably don't have it, or you don't have enough of it. And if you do, by the way, you're probably selling by expertise probably ain't going to work for you. 9 times out of 10, it doesn't. We're only lucky enough to see those few times that it does. Instead of trying to sell by expert, sell by the 3P process. Hey, Mr. Johnson, well, I understand your problem. I have a process to solve it, and I have a promise that if it goes wrong, I'll make it right. This is how you can restructure your selling thinking, your thoughts, and put you in a position so that your clients are more comfortable paying you more money. They're more comfortable paying for your process and your plan. And your clients are realizing that there's a lot of stuff going on so that it's worth paying your fee. When you hire a copywriter, that's a great example. Your copywriter is going to come in and say like, hey, here's the 5 to 7 steps that we're going to do. We're going to run research on your list. We're going to create an offer that makes a lot of sense. We're going to pull a product that you don't have to rework. And we're going to include it in a 6-week coaching program so that people want to buy what you have to sell. Great. That sounds a lot better than simply writing emails, right? That's something that you'd be willing to pay $3,000, $4,000, or $5,000 for. But if all the copywriter is saying like, hey, I'm an expert, and you're going to get some emails and I'm going to charge you this amount of money and see you later, goodbye, you're probably not going to have a good time. You're probably not going to want to buy from that copywriter again. And so that's why I really think everybody on here bought in a way that their market will not buy. Everybody here bought in a way their market will not buy. They bought from expertise. Dan Henry, Russell Brunson, Tai Lopez, Sam Ovens, running around town, top of the world saying, hey, I'm the best, you should listen to me. But that's not how you can sell. That just happens to be the way the digital marketing audience buys. Instead, to sell in a way your market wants to buy from you, you have to sell a 3P process. Again, credit goes to Andrew Cruzy. Mr. Johnson, I understand your problem. I can get you 30 customer opportunities a month guarantee. Here's our 5 to 7 steps that are going to solve your problem, the Wallet Out campaign. And I promise that if you don't get 30 customer opportunities the first month, I will pay your next month's bill for you. And we'll continue until you get 30 customer opportunities a month. You fire us or we fire you. The 3P process. And I forget who instilled this to Andrew Cruzy, but Andrew Cruzy really instilled this to me. This is just how I have been selling since I was taught this at Washington University in St. Louis, University of Chicago, Intel, and Ericsson. This is it. And using this process, you can build a bench of experts. If an insurance company came to me, by the way, Matt, congrats to Seth Science for landing a $5,000 deal. If an insurance company came to me and said, Jeff, I really want 30 more customer opportunities for insurance appointments, I would say, great, I understand your problem. Here's the 5 to 7 steps, and I promise it's going to work. And by the way, it's not just me doing this. I'm going to pull from my bench of experts to make sure that we can get this done. That sounds a lot better and a lot easier to communicate than if I went up to them and said, hey, I'm the absolute expert in insurance appointment industry, and you're going to want to pay me a lot of money, and you're going to love it. The second doesn't work as good as the first. So I hope that made a lot of sense for everybody. The way you bought isn't the way your market will buy. You need to have a 3P process. This is baked inside of the IC as part of somebody's journey. You can see me doing this all the time, again and again. And for everybody on the public group and the free group, just use Google Slides. It's going to be a good time. If there's any questions, comments, concerns, and all that fun stuff, now is the right time. But overall, I want everyone to just take this one message home. The way you bought probably isn't the way you're going to sell. That means put away the Lamborghinis, put away the fast cars, put away the pretty girls. If you want to sell your stuff, it's probably different than the way you bought your stuff. That's just how the world works. The way Publix buys their supplies is different than the way I buy from Publix. The way I buy my coaching services is different than the way then I sell my done-for-you products. You cannot have the same upstream and downstream. Your wholesaler relationship is different than your retailing relationship. I mean, imagine if a white labeler banged his chest and said, like, I'm the #1 white labeler person in the world. I'd be like, but what about the one campaign you messed up on? And so instead, most white labelers have this 3P process so that I feel more comfortable white labeling them and ultimately going retail and selling it for them. So again, if there's any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, or ideas, now is the time. But kind of in conclusion, the way you bought probably ain't the way you're going to sell.